Welcome to God's Way, YTVY, the spiritual viewpoint. We have so much to share with you tonight. We're going to be moving rather rapidly. We have a lot of original photos. We're going to be making the unknown known. I'm Adolphina Shephard, and this is my co-host, Knights Templar.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show.
We have a couple of fabulous guests here with us tonight. DeLise here, our Paranormal Medium Expert. And he has some original photos we'll be sharing too. And Josephine Perone, intuitive medium. So we're going to just have a good time with these photos. So I guess, maybe why don't you tell us about yourself for a minute?
Good evening, everybody. How are you?
We're fine.
I know him.
Yeah, we know him.
Everybody knows me, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a paranormal investigator and a medium. And my whole life is just working with the spirits that I deal with every day. And I love it. And I'm never going to stop. I'm just going to keep working with the spirits because they have a story to tell.
Yeah.
And I've been learning that story.
Isn't that the truth? Because that's why I wanted to do this with all the different pictures. Because people, really, it's like making the invisible visible. When you
Right.
get these original
That
photos.
sounds familiar to me.
Yes, well, that was our first show, right?
Yeah.
Making the invisible visible.
Yeah.
But people are going to see things they've never seen before. So, and how about you, Josephine? How about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Josephine Perone. I'm also a spiritual intuitive healer. I've also done some paranormal investigations and done some extrications and work with people on healing levels to help them move forward in their lives and neutralize energy and all those wonderful facets of spirituality. And thank you for having me on the show.
That was a brilliant synopsis. Like that. It was good.
That's my favorite thing to do. snap
That's
and they're
what we're
gone.
doing.
Yeah, when you get it down. Well, I thought what we do first is just start with the pictures, and then we'll have some input if anybody has anything really interesting that they see or want to say. So because we have a lot of them. I think we maybe have 15, 16
All
pictures.
right, so let's cut one.
All right, let's go to one, right?
Let's cut one.
See what we got. I don't know where we're going to start because I just don't remember.
Well, you're going to have to wing it then.
Actually,
That's one of
that
mine.
is one of your pictures.
mine.
That's one of yours. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, that was the day, as a matter of fact, that was Monday, I believe it was. I had gone down to a beach that I have sanctified for the Blessed Mother, and went down there, and I was interceding on behalf of a friend of mine who was going through a lot of stuff health-wise, and they gave me my answer, and there it was.
Well, the thing that fascinates me about that is the Mayan said that at the time of the shift, we would have two suns. He very nicely captured that. Do you see the regular sun? And then to the lower left, there's a dot that's very bright. Well, that's the second sun. It's a small sun. It's not a giant sun like the sun we have. But he's actually
people
captured a
live
few
another
of them
time.
recently.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Looks very interesting. It kind of thought it was like maybe a ship at one point.
Well, yeah, I asked that too. And when it's smaller and condensed, you can get a clearer picture. I've captured that photo myself on the beach down in Brigantine.
What I get from that is when I go down there to enlist the help of the Blessed Mother, that I get her and Michael. And the funny part about it is that there's a house that was knocked down by the storm. And they had that little thing that the Blessed Mother goes in, that little shrine, but it was empty. Somebody went and did what I wanted to do. They took it, they brought it up closer to the street. They didn't put the Blessed Mother in there, but they put Michael, and Michael protects her.
Oh,
And
how
it's
nice.
right
That
there.
statue.
Yeah.
Right, we wanted to put something in there.
And
That's interesting.
Right, sure.
Well,
Yeah,
you-
the last time Tommy and I were at the beach too, we grabbed photos like that, and we not only got a ship in there, but there was so much going on. I mean, we had a photo of Saturn. You could see the rings around it. That's how
Oh,
clear
wow.
it was.
Wow.
Right, that's what that photo. When I take a
Right.
picture, I see that orb as well. It's got a ring of violet light, which means that we're in the time of transmutation and transitioning, and that's why we see the double suns and it's
What about the
bringing
one we have in Nibiru?
rays of light
Right.
With the one with the Nubian or whatever it was.
for healing purposes.
Yeah, I was told not to talk about that one. Might scare too many people, but
Okay.
yeah. But now that picture you were talking about with the ships, I remember
Right.
there was a
you've
light on
seen
the
the
back.
photo,
It was
right.
moving around, like it couldn't have gotten from one side of the sun all the way over here that quickly. So they were
Right.
like all around in that or near the sun.
It was right
It
next to
kept
the
on
sun,
moving
actually.
around the sun.
Yeah.
You know, you'd think that they'd burn up, right?
No,
but
not
they
with
don't.
the technology that they have, and
They're
believe it or
way
not,
ahead of us.
they
Yeah.
probably go right through the sun and right to the next area. That's how quick
See,
they
we
are.
would probably
Yeah.
just go at night, so we wouldn't
Right.
get burned. But you know,
Oh, right. We wouldn't get burned.
Well, unfortunately, Rite Aid didn't have sunblock left, so we were out of. We were out.
40,000
I
sunblock.
know.
Now I think this is another one of yours, Tommy.
Yeah, it is.
Now, what's interesting is not only did you catch that sun again, but you see the upside down. They're creating like a pyramid with the rays, which I thought very interesting.
And
Yeah.
if you look at the bottom part of the photo,
Mm-hmm.
you actually see the jawline of a face.
It's you
And,
know.
and you could see like the light is like the middle part of the forehead where the light is coming
You
out
know,
of.
you're right. You're right.
Right
And you
there.
know, that's the sun god, obviously. Yeah, that is very interesting.
Was that Ra?
Because you see like where the ship, or
The
where the
Egyptian
actual.
called him Ra.
Well, you see where the actual lip is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the actual piece. And then you have the headpiece that is shining right out. So
Right.
it looks very interesting.
Well, when I first looked at it, that's what I said. He caught that on Valentine's Day because I remember saying it looks like lips.
Right.
The purple aura around it. You know.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
When my gifts first came out, the first sign that I had gotten was the sun, and the cross came right out of the sun and hit me right in the third eye.
Oh.
And I said, well, who is that? And they said, Archangel Zia, who, if you look at the sign of Zia, they were a tribe of ancient Indians. They also have a picture of the sun in the middle with the cross, with the, you know, the four winds, the four seasons, you know,
Right.
and all that encompassing. So that also, every time I look at the sun, that's what I think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
well, from
interesting.
Something like that
though.
happened to me the other day with that.
Very
I was
interesting.
looking at the sun because they get my attention.
The four
when the sun
archangels,
is when
right.
the sun is in a certain position and they want me to notice it, you know, you make the sun become annoying to me. You know, so until I look at it, and then I was looking at it, of course you're going to get the inevitable spots, but every time I closed my eyes to try to clear my eyes, there was a cross in the middle of the sun that I kept seeing in my eyes.
Interesting.
And you
Same
see
as
how
you.
that you have like that tunnel vision from the sun that's right there? That's actually how my first experience happened becoming a medium. You know, like when you get punched in the eye and you see like stars and I mean, I was looking straight and that's exactly
No, I
what was
actually
happening
punched
to
you.
me.
That's I
Right,
actually-
sometimes when you do that, when,
Right.
when you lower your eyes again, you'll
Right.
see they're diamonds. That's
Right.
Archangel Metatron. That they're downloading from your star chakra, and then you'll be able to see that.
It was very interesting, I must say, because like I said, I'm dealing with people here who are more advanced than I am. And what I've learned, shut up you, and what I've learned, you know, it's just amazing because it's like each time I was telling Adolphina the other night, I mean, I was doing astro traveling. I went to a friend's house and she actually touched my leg. So she couldn't believe it. She
Some
was like,
friend.
That it was
you know,
solid. Yeah, that
it
his-
was
it
just
was
so
solid.
weird to
Right.
me. you
Well, and
know?
then she called you 2:30 in the morning, right after you were
And
there.
said
Right,
that I was
exactly,
there.
correct.
And I said,
It's,
what is
it's validation. Remember,
Yeah.
the Holy Spirit, it preempts these because your soul needs to have these experiences, and then they explain things to you afterwards.
Right, you see, well, I have a
It's
friend.
kind of like a conundrum and enigma. They make you constantly ponder
Right.
what's going on.
See, I have a
Isn't that
friend,
the truth?
Pat, who's been teaching me quantum. So I'm working a lot with quantum now.
yeah.
So, which is very interesting. And I'm sure that later on down the line, we'll talk about that. But it's just interesting to learn.
Never-ending
It's a
subject.
key
We could sit
word.
here for hours.
Okay.
Keyword.
It's a key word. We'll get to that.
All right,
sooner
I
or
think
later.
we better go to the next picture because we got a lot of them.
Yeah. No, it goes. We got plenty. We got plenty of time.
Next.
Now
There you go.
this, isn't this
that's
cool?
nice.
That's
That-
beautiful.
That's actually the energy being sent down, transmutation. But you see the blue? That's a portal. That's the portal opening that's allowing it to come through. What a clear shot, huh?
It's beautiful, actually.
get
I mean,
that?
it's very hard to fake something like that.
I know.
Did you take that?
No, this
No,
was,
Adolphina did.
this was one of, I actually found this one. This was not one of my originals, but it was so fascinating I had to share it because it was so clear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it actually
It
looks
also
like a ship.
also like the base
Yeah.
of a sword,
Right,
you know,
right.
as well.
Well, yeah, it could be
The
somebody's
sword of spirit.
sword, yeah.
The sword of spirit.
When you can
portal.
see the
Michael's
color so
colors.
clear like that, that
It's
was
beautiful.
great. I mean, we could be standing there and it would be right there and we wouldn't be able to see it with
No.
the naked eye, but yet the camera picks these things up.
Well, that's the same thing with me when I'm doing investigations.
yeah.
A lot of times, I'll physically see the orb, and then there's sometimes I won't, and the camera picks it up just
Yeah.
like that.
It's amazing how the camera can pick up things our eyes can't. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh yes, this is a fascinating
How's it
one.
going?
Now, that is a light ship. Now, it's probably hard to see, but I understand they're from Adronima.
Right.
And
Andromeda?
yeah, if you
Andromeda.
look at it, you can see it has little chakras
Right.
in the actual spaceship.
Is that the crown? Looks like a crown going across the top
Wow,
there?
that's beautiful.
It's actually kind of like its propulsion, I think, coming out of the sun somehow. And I've actually gotten a lot of things like this. And also to the right, in the smaller
see it,
picture,
I see
it
it,
looked to me like it was Mother Mary. That's what
Yeah,
I
the
was
blue.
getting for that one, the blue. Yeah, and so I understand that these ships are the envy of the universes because they're so neat. You know what I mean? That they're invisible for starters,
Right.
and you know, they have their own chakras, which is really neat. You know?
Right. That's what you were.
It's their energy force.
Right. That's what you were explaining to me yesterday when I spoke to you about the chakras, how I came down and went through the chakras. That was very interesting, though.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, that was a different kind of spaceship that you see because whenever you see them anywhere, I also saw other spaceships one time. Three
NASA?
of them. No, they actually in person this time. We was actually coming home from the shore, my father and me and a friend, and there were three of them, and they were round, just like you see in movies with the lights that go around. And I'm surprised there wasn't a big pile up
At
because
night or during
it
the-
was like, yeah, I guess it was dusk. And they were taking pictures and the lights were flashing and all the
Wow.
cars were going like this, all the people. So I don't know how there wasn't a big accident, but there wasn't. And then suddenly off they went.
Like that.
So,
So you saw that, was that before the margaritas or after?
no margaritas.
Margarita? Okay. I
No
just had to
margaritas.
make sure. 'Cause, you know.
But you know what's funny? We talked about it all the way home, and the next day when I brought it up, they didn't remember. But then later, my friend who was
They
with
didn't
me,
remember seeing it?
it
'cause of
was
the
like it was
margaritas.
wiped. It
I
was
think
wiped.
you're right.
I think it was wiped out of their memory
unconsciously,
banks.
right. Sometimes that message was just for you, and everyone else it's going to be
That's
wiped
right,
from
you
their
don't see it,
memory.
yeah.
But you know
Because it was
what?
for your acknowledgement.
Recently, this friend is still around, and we were talking about it. He says, I remember that, but back then, he didn't remember anything.
A lot of times, like, when you astral travel,
That's true.
you don't remember it.
I
Half
didn't
the time.
remember.
I didn't remember a couple of times, but somebody, well, somebody close to me was telling me I was up in another country doing something, you know?
Yeah.
And I would have liked to remembered it because I was doing something.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because, like, when my friend Janet called, she was like, Dave, you were just sitting on my bed. And I was like, really? She goes, I touched your leg. So it was really interesting how she actually felt my leg. And what I said to her was, no worries, go back to sleep, I'm leaving. And I left. You know, I was gone.
Right, that's for
Traveled
your
light, that's why.
validation, your acknowledgement.
Well, yeah,
Because, right.
it
and
was a
that's why
great
that's-
validation for me
Absolutely.
because, you know, that to me was actually my first time.
Right.
You know, at least from
First
what
time
I
that you-
remember,
the first
it
time that
was.
you remember it, because a lot of you
Oh.
basically astral travel probably every night, but
Oh,
you
absolutely.
just don't remember it. You know,
There
you
were
ever had
times
them
when-
vivid dreams? You
Right.
know,
Oh,
you-
yeah, I've had vivid
no,
dreams.
not the vivid. I know the ones you're talking about.
No,
not
I'm
those
not
dreams.
saying that's what
Just
your
vivid
mind is.
dreams.
I didn't say
My mind is
anything.
not. All right, it's there, but it you know.
I didn't say a word.
There were so many different aspects of it. Sometimes when if you're sleeping and you're about to fall asleep, I could actually feel myself leaving my body, but I'm going to the higher planes.
When you leave,
And we're in a-
where are you going out from? The third eye? Or you're going out from the heart?
I'm going out from the heart chakra.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me they can go out from here and they come out from the
Sometimes from there.
third eye. Yeah. What about
But
you?
you know,
What'd
it
feel?
depends on
You know,
what work I'm doing.
it's-
If I'm working with a client who has a problem and I can't get to the house to do a clearing, when I go to sleep, I set my intent. This is my intent. I got to go to that house. I got to clear the energy there. And tomorrow she'll call me and tell me that she slept well and everything feels
Yeah,
great.
yeah, that I know.
And then, later on you'll get that phone call, the house feels great. I feel so much better. Thank you so much. Were you here? Because I thought I felt you. I thought I heard you. I was like, yeah, I was there. I was like, I'll start describing things, and they're like, how could that possibly be?
Yeah. What about you,
And
sis? How many
Well,
times
the thing is, I've been told I astral travel every night, and there have been times when I felt really weak. And so that what the word was you have to stop traveling every night because, it will weaken you. But what I
you were
did,
doing all that earth repair, that's why.
well, could be, what I did was I asked to remember anything that was really important.
Pertinent.
Right.
Because if you try to remember it all, but everything, they don't allow us to remember everything, I think, and
They don't
so
want us to be too smart, huh?
I don't know. Maybe our minds
Yeah,
couldn't
it's-
handle
Well, not
it.
as smart as them, that's for sure. They'll give
No.
us the
It's an
leeway
overload.
to do it, but
Overloaded.
they're not going to give us everything. They will show you, but you can't be as smart as they are.
A bit at a time, I guess, as much as we're able to handle,
Well,
Well,
hopefully,
that's exactly what they do. They give you what they can handle, what you can
What you
handle,
can and what you
and
can
not
handle.
overload you.
And they
Right.
won't give you an experience that you're not
Right.
ready for.
Right. That's the key because some people. I actually believe that a lot of people in mental institutions are people who have psychic gifts.
I say that all the time. I said they've
Yeah.
been misdiagnosed and
Absolutely.
misunderstood.
Well, anybody that hears or sees a psychiatrist will say that they're schizophrenic.
since the time
you
they-
know?
Or
when they're
experiences
when they're
great
little
anxiety,
kids.
which we know a lot of times
right.
the anxiety is because spirit is trying to
Oh, if I ever
encroach
sat
on
down
their
with a shrink,
environment.
they'd lock me up. Trust
Probably
me when
need
I
it.
tell you that. They'd be
No,
like, get
you're
this
the
guy
most
in the
normal
rubber room.
guy I know.
Because the things that I see
always have
now
that
is just
twitch?
amazing. I mean, I could be walking across the street, I see 5 people walking next to me, and I'm like, holy mackerel. Like, where did they come from?
That's true, but then we acknowledge them, and then once you harness your gifts, you're going to be like, hey, buddy, if you're not here for my highs, get out.
Yeah.
Right,
Be
it
gone.
is.
Get
Well,
away.
you see, that's the great thing about learning how to use the quantum, because it allows me to get there a lot faster than what most mediums can do. So it's kind of challenging and it's overwhelming at
Well,
times.
you know what? You start in the 4th dimension.
Right.
You have to work your way through. It takes a lot. You have to have all those tools and components to get yourself up to that level where
Right.
you're Christ conscious and all those wonderful things, and all the saints and the
Right.
ascended masters will come and visit you and ascend you to the 5th, and that is amazing. I mean, Adolphina, no, she's probably beyond that.
Oh yeah.
Way beyond that.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's the truth that there are some neat things. You and I were talking on the phone about seeing people walk by you, and actually it's through the veil. But I've actually seen a picture of this. One of my Facebook friends, I saved some of her pictures. They're pretty cool. It's almost like the people are moving in you know how you take a picture and you can see you're moving?
Robotic.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like you can see it in sequence. That's
Right,
how
right,
some
right,
of these
right.
flipping
pictures
the
are.
page.
Like the
If you drew a
Matrix. It's like
couple,
the
yeah.
Matrix.
Right.
Yeah,
the
it's
Matrix.
really amazing. So I know just what you've seen
Right.
because I've seen that in pictures. But all right, so let's move on
Next
to the
pic.
next picture. Let's see what else we have. Okay, this is another light ship. Now this one freaked me out because I'll tell you why.
It was on your lawn?
In the next picture, I realized as it was in sequence when I got these developed. I mean, these were when you still got pictures,
Yeah.
The nose of it is in my car. And I said, oh my God, it was in my car.
Right.
You know,
That was in your car?
the nose of it. Can you believe that? So, I mean, that too, if you notice, has the rings. Can you see the chakras?
Right.
Yes.
So this is somehow living
7.
light. They're somehow living light. I don't
That's
know
the
the technology.
energies. That's all the energies. Same thing with your orbs. A lot of people discredit the orbs, but I've been showing people the way to see them now. It's like if you noticed in the back of that picture, there was an orange or reddish line in
I
the
saw
back.
that, yeah.
A lot of times when I'm doing my photos, people say, "Oh, that's the reflection off the lamp," and I'm like, "No,
No.
it's in with the orbs energies, because you'll see a photo that I have up here for later where you actually see the spirit's face inside the orb.
Oh, yeah.
So
Right, right,
I mean,
we've
they
been witness
are,
to that
so,
millions of
I mean,
times.
scientific proof to me is showing somebody that photo with the face in it.
Yeah, see, Claudia's father
Right.
comes in the orb.
Right.
Every time we do a show, he's always in the picture.
It's amazing because
that's
they want
cool.
they want you to see them.
Oh, absolutely.
They want to talk. They want you to know their story. A lot of
Yeah.
people, investigators, don't know how to deal with the spirits.
Okay, there's the picture of it right in my
the
car.
car.
Unfortunately, it's kind of hid by God's way, where it says way is
see the
where
light
it's in.
right by the Y.
Yeah, you
There
see
it
that?
is.
I'm like, oh my God. And when it was small, where you could see more definition, and I'm like, that thing had its nose right in my car. And,
amazing.
you know, that kind of freaked me out, to be honest with you, when I
What was
took
that, the
it.
Buick?
No, that was when I had my Jeep. These are older. These are actually photographs, you know,
Photographs,
when you used to
right.
take them with a camera, not
the
with your cell
Kodak
phone.
moment, huh?
Yeah, Kodak moment, you know. Other than that, the picture isn't fascinating, but that
Right.
was the realization when I took that picture, and that was the next one in sequence, and I said, oh my God.
Interesting.
You get another one?
There were also times we have to say that you have to be the scientist and the skeptic at the same time, because people send you a picture and say, look, there's a giant flash in my picture. I said, that's a reflection of the camera light
Right,
that bounced
right.
right back in your face.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, you know,
Can be.
sorry, but that's not. And but you can tell the difference. you
Yeah,
know.
Sure.
well, see, like that last picture by itself, you wouldn't see anything. Maybe you might say, oh, there's a little orb hanging there, but no, that was the piece of the spaceship.
Right.
So, you know, that was really freaky.
There's
Here's a
nice
neat one.
The chakras in a row.
Yeah, now that's a light body. That's a light body, and unlike anything I ever saw, my girlfriend Dawn had taken that, and I saved it because she's crossed over now anyway, but there also seems to be something up there to the left, this is the first time I'm actually seeing that. Anybody see that big round thing to the
Yeah,
left?
to the left, right over by the side of the tree.
I mean, if that's an
I see it.
orb,
It's
it's
in- it's
humongous.
light, yeah.
Yeah.
You see how big that is?
It looks like it has many orbs in it. Because look at the different round spots.
Yeah, that's definitely a giant orb.
Yeah, well, see, it's a giant orb, and then it has those lights inside of it.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that
Wow.
happens too with me sometimes when I'm in the cemetery photographing. You know, you get some small ones, but every now and then you'll get like
Oh,
one
something
that's
enormous.
He gets
huge.
a big
Well,
one.
they want to be acknowledged.
Right.
In my practice, when people need to come to me, it's preempted by the Holy Spirit. They will purposely have somebody take a picture, and there's an orb over them, and they will come to you and say, look at this picture. Who is this? What is this? And I say, it's an orb, and that's you know, so and so. This is your
Right.
husband. He wants you to come and receive the healing that you need. So there's always a reason for it. The Holy Spirit will use that as a preempt to a healing, in whatever capacity it needs to be done.
Right.
So they'll show you those pictures. I mean, I've been seeing orbs and faces in my house for 20 years. I mean,
I could contest to that.
absolutely. They're still on the wall, some of them.
She had the spook house.
I have this, yeah.
For a while it was anyway.
Well, you know what, that energy's been cleared.
I know.
I can see that they put up another picture.
Oh, there you go.
Now, this one is interesting because it was around Christmas, and I was taking a picture of my reindeer and the Christmas lights. Now, if you look at that, if you can see the big spirit on the right, you could see the lights through them.
Right.
And I called him Nino. And that was the first time I had anything really
called
jump.
him
I
what?
called him Nino. He told me that's what his name was, Nino.
Nino, the Italian invisible spirit. Okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool, you know.
And he came with his
Oh,
own
yeah,
Christmas
that-
lights.
I'm telling, no, I put them Christmas lights up.
Oh, okay.
He just jumped in the picture
just
to let
jumped
us
in the
know he
picture,
was
yeah.
there. Yeah, isn't that neat?
Yeah,
That's really neat.
no,
Yeah, I have a
definitely.
lot of
Yeah.
pictures.
See, now the last picture we saw, it had the chakras, and that was a light body, and this one was a light body too. Now, this one I took from a cruise ship. Do you see the pyramid?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it looks like a pyramid.
So it's a light pyramid, and so what I think this is if you can think about how all the ships and
Yeah.
people disappear in like the
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle
vortex.
and
Yeah,
so
that's
forth.
definitely-
Yeah, see that? But it's definitely, when you look at it smaller, I mean, this is blown up, you know how they become less diffused,
It's a bigger
more
vortex.
diffused.
Right.
But this was a light pyramid for sure. So
Right.
I would say somebody could go into that, and it would be a portal into who knows where.
It's a possibility because I've had that experience a few
Well, if it's
times.
going to Hawaii, I'm on. Yeah, I need a break.
You know,
Just
I
astral
wish
travel,
I
you can get
remember where that was. I don't know where
don't
that was
remember
from.
Was that in Florida?
Somebody asked.
It's
Sometimes you will.
in the Caribbean, I would think. I think it was in the Caribbean. Oh, now this was interesting because every time I talk to the sun, I get a response. And I don't know which I was calling it in, and then you see the thing on my leg?
Yeah.
down there in the bottom. Well, what I discovered by the next picture, when you saw them in sequence, it had actually situated itself around my body.
She was going right through you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that.
Isn't that wild? I was like, oh my God, look at this. I mean, sometimes you look at these
That
pictures.
was a grounding
kind
for
of,
you, your root chakra.
and you know, it's kind of freaky, right? Well,
Yeah.
when they show the next picture, you'll see what I'm talking about. Can you show the next picture? Because the first one should have been up first. See, I was calling it in, here it comes. You see, it's another light ship, right, coming in. And then that picture there was actually showing it. I was in it.
Wow, that's amazing.
I am so happy to see that everybody else that we all have had the same experiences,
Right.
that we could share with each other, because
You try to talk to
Unless-
some people, they
yeah.
just look at you like you were certifiable.
that is amazing. That's
Well,
how it's.
see, now there it goes again. So you can see, I'm actually in it, and I was thinking, oh my God, you know. And thank God it's after the fact when I see these pictures, because it could be downright
And
scary.
that could have been healing sent to you as well, to help your chakras,
Could be.
or,
Oh,
you know, to fill up
absolutely.
your energy, you know?
You got that magnetic pull.
Right.
Or-
To
or
make sure it's not a
they're about to-
747 the next
They're
time.
fortifying you
Right.
because they're about to send you on a mission that you need to be sustained.
That, you know, you never know when these pictures are going to strike either, you know? I mean, when you're out
Look at
there
those, you have
taking
the picture,
pictures and
you
something
have the
shows
picture, there's
up.
nothing in it. You look at it 2 years later, and all of a sudden,
Right.
there's an orb in it.
Or it's
Or-
maybe
or
your
there's-
sight is better, or do you think they develop more?
Well, I think that maybe the development
Well, with Tommy, it's the
process-
sight. It's getting better.
Because I have pictures that, well, it may be both for me too, because I have pictures from my wedding reception, and you could see zoom, zoom, zoom. There are angels everywhere in
Right, yeah.
white light, and you
beautiful,
can
right?
see their trail where they're zipping around,
Well,
and I
that
was like,
day-
oh my God.
That day at the beach, the clouds were in the angel formations.
Right.
You can see the wings on them and everything clearly.
Yeah, that's beautiful too. It's
Yeah,
like,
when that happens, that's a message. Remember the
wow.
photos I showed you of the Indian people walking across in the cloud form? The first form I seen was Jesus' face. Then if you look to the right, you seen 4 hooded men, like they were walking. And then in the other side of the sky, you seen 4 Native American Indians walking. And it was the most intense thing, because I'm like looking up and I'm like, wow, something's being told as a story. And that night, after that happened, I went into the catacombs of this church, and the stuff that I found in there that night, maybe they were giving me,
Absolutely, they want
Guidance to
acknowledgement.
tell me, yo, this
Absolutely.
is where
They're
they
showing
are.
you a story, right?
but it was interesting.
It's a teaching and learning lesson
Right.
for you.
Now wait a minute
that's
though,
beautiful.
because I'm still confused about it. So where were you when you saw this?
I was at a local church,
Uh-huh.
and I was doing an investigation here.
Right.
And, you know, here it is, like 6 o'clock in the evening, like it is today. It was
Yeah.
sun still out. It was beautiful. And I'm looking at each area of the sky.
Oh, okay.
And there was
in
like
the
3
sky.
different
Okay.
stories of
Mary.
clouds in the sky.
Okay.
One were like Native American Indians, say 4 of them. The other, there was 4 hooded characters the other way. And then over here, you had the huge face of Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I took the photo, and I'm looking, I said, I'll be damned.
yeah.
You know, it's like, this is really like a cloud of Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, and then I was driving into Brooklyn one day. I was taking the photos like you guys took of the sun.
Yeah.
And you could see the actual Mother Mary standing right there.
The
Cool.
Madonna in the picture.
Remember the one I gave you? I sent you that
What
time?
happened to the one we took the other day? I said, get that sun.
That had a cross in it.
Yeah.
We're driving down on the highway. Tommy's like, oh, look at that. Look at the sun. I said, take a picture. So I took a picture. Tommy says, I bet you there'll be a cross in there.
Huh.
Sure as hell, I'm like blowing it up a little bit, and you could see the actual indentation of the cross.
Of the cross.
Huh.
It's beautiful.
And I was like, wow, this guy's definitely a witch or
Oh,
something.
thanks a lot.
I said, he must have knew something before he even said it.
Yeah, you know, I think they know
Well,
when we're going to go, and they set it up.
It's amazing, though.
Yeah,
It's
they
very
certainly do.
crystal clear.
I see that they put up another picture for us. Now, this is an interesting story because this was my courtyard at the time before I grew the ivy up all over and so
Right.
forth. And anyway, so I wanted to sit out in the sun for a while and get some sun on my face. And so at that time, there were portals, multidimensional portals all open. And so I said, you know, God, can you please clear the yard so I can sit out there and not be disturbed? Well, then I took some pictures, right? And now I see that if you look, it's not as clear as I'd like it to be, but in the upper left-hand corner, there's an
There's an
angel
angel.
there. And you can see the wings and everything,
And I
right?
see the face that's on the lower of the box.
Well, what they kind of did was it seemed like they took a net and they kind of, see all those little things on the left are all orbs.
Right.
They're all orbs and they're gathered up kind of like in a big net. Now the difference is, this is going to be perfect to show some of the orbs you came up with. These are not light beings. They're not dark beings either. They're just beings who have
Right.
not purified themselves to get the light in their body. They're living, and so you see they have the black eyes, and yet their face and everything is
Right.
white. It's like white
Right.
light. So
Right, so-
that's the difference between a light being and a regular being.
Right.
So now, was there anything else there? Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, here's another one coming up. Now, this one, I was at a class where I was actually taking pictures of orbs, and I said, my guides, would you please line up so I can get a picture of you all? Look at the giant orbs. Do you see
Right.
the giant orbs?
Yeah, they were all, each individual person had 2 or 3 orbs behind them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like when you, if you
Look
call
at
to
the
them,
giant
they'll all
ones
show
over
up
there.
in the
Look at
picture.
all the big ones on the side here.
Yeah, well, they actually, they're all the way across. I see
How'd you
all
get all
up
those
and
people to
down.
wear paper bags?
Oh, are you kidding me? You know, I'm not that good with the program paint, and so I whited out their faces. You know, I couldn't have that. But the orbs were all there, and I was like,
why?
well, because I
All
don't
right,
I
all
don't
right.
know them to get permission, you
Right,
know,
right,
to
right,
show their
right.
faces and
Right,
stuff.
right, right.
So anyway, but that was really something because they were humongous orbs. Oh, this is one
This
of yours.
is this one here. When we had Ellen, what was her last name? Carrie?
Carrie,
Ellen Carrie on. She channels the divine feminine Isis. And that day we were down at I was down at the beach. Were you with me?
No, not that
I was
day.
down it was still winter. And I went down there, said some prayers. I was doing things for the Blessed Mother, and I also included Isis. And she made herself known. If you can blow up that picture in the booth, can't blow it up?
yeah, that's probably
I
as
don't think
big
so,
as they
no.
could
Well,
get.
you notice the water heading out towards the
Yeah.
sea.
Right.
When you get to the beginning of the funnel,
Oh,
you're going
I
to
just
see
saw it.
Isis is there. You'll see her face. You'll see, you know, well,
Yes.
you can't see it on that. It's,
But if you notice how it is, it's like you have the line that
It's
goes
got
like
the-
this and then comes around.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That,
Which
right.
is giving you some kind of
well, she's in
sign.
there. When you
Validation,
can
yeah.
see that picture on the phone that I have or on the computer,
Right.
you can blow it up. You can see that she's wearing her Egyptian garb and head guard, you know, all the
Right.
stuff they wore.
with the
crown.
horns and
Yeah.
the sun, right?
She has on.
Yeah, I've seen
That's a
her.
very
She
interesting
walked
picture.
into my bedroom one day.
Yeah, that's what I had said when Tommy
Oh,
showed
yeah.
that to me. I said,
Right.
that's ISIS.
And then I got to see her face. She walked in with her costume, and then she just came in close with her face. She has these emerald green eyes.
Yeah.
She was beautiful,
Are you talking about just now?
Yeah.
no,
I was
just
talking about,
recently.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
which was beautiful. But you could see her.
Was that mine or
her
yours?
shape.
Yeah, that's yours. That's another one where you captured the
The,
little sun, but the big sun is so bright. I guess that was sunset.
This was Palm Sunday. I was over at the Staten Island Mall, as a matter of fact. I was sitting over by Carvel, and I took that picture because once again the sun was deliberately bothering me
Right.
and getting my attention to take a picture. And when I did, it's too bad it couldn't be blown up. You would see it a lot better.
Right.
But you could see to the top over this side, and you got the like a purple hue to it, you know, like a mauve color.
Right. Well, you can actually see the ship
I can
or
see it.
whatever it is
Yeah.
there. But yeah,
It's
if it-
bigger than the sun by
Oh,
like
totally.
5 or 6 things.
Oh, that was Nigerian then.
Yeah. So you know that was interesting. It's easier to see when it's not spread apart so well.
Right.
But yeah. But at any rate, you get an idea.
Right.
Oh, now this is one of yours, Dave.
Right. Yes, I was working in the cemetery here at St. Andrews in Staten Island, and a vortex just opened up right in front of my face. And as I'm walking towards the tree, if you notice in the vortex, you'll see about 4 to 6 different people on the side of the vortex. So I was not venturing into that area at the time because if I went in, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get out, because that was like towards like the newbie age, I would say, as being a medium.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to take a chance because I'd have nobody to call to help me.
They suck you right up.
Then I'd be, I'll be out of luck.
You'd be on the mothership on the way somewhere, you know?
But, in this cemetery alone, I've been working for 2.5 years. So all the spirits know me, they're very comfortable with me, and they love to talk to me. So they're constantly talking to me
And I'm
all
sure a
the time.
couple of come
They
and
love to
visit.
run through you too.
Oh,
now
yeah.
and then.
Oh, that was funny you said that. I brought Tommy into the church one night and took him through the place. I said, "Oh, Tom, you never been in? I'm going to take you around." Sure enough, we're standing in the kitchen area of the church. Now, up to the left is a little accountant office. This spirit ran down the stairs and right through Tommy.
Right through me.
Tommy almost
Did you
fell
feel it?
over.
It was
I
ice
had to
cold.
grab
I
him.
I did one of these. I said,
And he said,
"Oh my God!"
"Oh my God, I'm freezing." I'm like, "Well, what happened?" He goes, I said, "Oh, that was Charlie. Don't worry about it. He's in here all the time. He always bothers me."
He's the notary.
He's
there.
the notary guy up there. He's in and out of that place
Then
all the time.
he says to me, he goes, "We're going to go down to the catacombs." So we go downstairs, and we're in this pretty spooky down there. He's got cameras set up all over the place. He says, "You see that?" He shows me a skeleton of a cat. He goes, "He's 130 years old." Because sometimes I hear him go, "Meow."
There's a cat in the basement of the catacombs
Yeah, a skeleton.
that actually follows me and rubs up against my leg, and I could see him. So I see him looking up, meow, meow, meow.
So is it a real cat or?
It's a real cat.
Because you know what, just recently I was going through some pictures and I came across a picture in my garden and darn if there isn't a spirit cat walking between my fence. First time I've ever caught that.
Oh no, in St. Andrews, there is a pet cemetery.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my.
I can't tell you the animals that I hear barking, dogs barking,
Really?
cats meowing. I hear it all the time. And right in that area, you have St. Francis, the statue of St. Francis there.
Yeah.
Have a seat,
And
so, yeah.
every time I bend down by the statue and take a picture, beautiful orbs all around the statue.
He's a
All
beautiful
the time.
soul. He's a beautiful energy. You know,
Beautiful,
he is.
though.
You know,
Yeah,
let me be a
he's
change.
Oh,
Patron
here's
saint
one
of
of your
ours.
orbs, Dave. Now, that's the difference between a light orb and the dark ones I was showing you before.
But you see, a lot of people think orbs are just white or gray color looking.
Right.
And occasionally you'll get a blue orb or a yellow orb or a green. But the orbs that come out for me are just fabulous because they're really showing you a story. Now, if I didn't say that was an orb and put a picture out there, you would think that was Mars or Venus or something.
Planet, yeah.
You could definitely put that as, that looks like a space picture.
Yeah, it does.
If you really think about it, you have one planet up here, one
Looks like the start of our show. By the
Right.
hand.
Yeah. Now, does that, I think that has a face in it, doesn't it? The green
I'm
one?
sure there's tons of stuff in there. You have to blow it up more to
got a
really
nose.
see it.
Their
But,
faces.
these are the spirits that appear to me every single day I'm in the cemetery.
Yeah.
And, it's like, it's very interesting to be able to talk to them and understand why they're there. And that's where my scientific proof comes in. And that's how I can, prove to somebody, hey, this is definitely a spirit.
You know
it's
what they try
energy.
to, somebody was trying to tell me, he goes, "Oh, that's the iris on the camera."
Oh, yeah,
Right?
iris.
I said, "Yeah, that's the iris.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the iris." Okay.
But I love when people debate it because you know what? It just makes my job honest. You understand? Because where you have other
Well, I've seen
people
what
that
they said it to you on the.
yeah, people, now it's like when I first started putting the orbs up on Facebook, people didn't want to know it. Now I got thousands of people asking me questions.
Right.
So you see, you try to bring it in to show
Well,
people.
They are now attracting what you give notice to. It's like buying a new car.
Right.
And you're not undecisive, and you say, "You know what, I like this one." And then you go out in the street, and all of a sudden you notice all of them that are out there.
Right.
And that's why the Holy Spirit does that.
Right.
It's like you give the attention to notice it because you're attracting it.
Right.
And that's important.
The veil is thinning, so more people are starting to awaken. And
Right.
so now they think before they would have dismissed it, right? But now they're starting to realize that
Absolutely.
there's more to this than they can see.
Well, I
know?
try to show people as much as I can because, you do have investigators that never even seen ghosts or a spirit or an
Right.
apparition.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, we know.
And here I am, I see them every 2 seconds of the
Because
day.
these are investigators that run around with their little machines and little things, and they don't have a medium with them.
Right.
Right,
Okay?
right.
And they're over there, "Oh, this is look, it's
But you
it's
don't
like-
even need a medium with you. If you're an investigator, you're out there looking for your thing, you are bound to find something
Dave,
in
You
5
know
or 6
exactly
years.
what I'm talking about.
Right. See, I don't
with a
need
200
those
electrical
machines.
lamp
Right, we
right
don't-
behind the wall.
I don't need the machines like a normal investigator would. I mean, I started out with them, but my abilities just got so much stronger, I don't need them
Right,
anymore.
but
And you know what's good though? The machines are validation, and
Yes,
that's the good thing. Now
that's- yes.
here's a good one. This is yours, I think, right?
Yeah, this was another one that I caught where actually I was talking with a few spirits. I was actually sitting in that chair first.
Oh.
And then I got up because I sit down with them and talk to them when I get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I say hi to everybody in the cemetery, let them know I'm there and doing my thing. So as I got up, I said, you know, geez, I never see anybody sitting in this chair. Would somebody come and sit down with me? I
They took
turn around, I got and this was with the naked eye. I
This
see
is
now with the
cool.
naked eye. So I just got up and took a picture because there's actually chairs right there.
Maybe that's my phone. Well, that's fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. I don't know how many pictures we have left, so we're going to
might
have
be
to
one
move
more, if
rather
anything.
quickly.
We have 3.
3, all right, we got
Oh,
plenty
okay.
of time.
So we're okay then. Okay, and that's another one that was good, right?
Yeah, that's another one that had a threesome going. I mean, there was, you know, a lot of things going on in
That's
that
a
picture.
strange way of
you
putting
know.
it.
But
Yeah.
I have to say it in triplicate because you understand a lot of them travel in tens of hundreds and then split up. As you'll see in the next photo I have here, where you'll actually get to see a spirit within inside of the orb. And you'll see 2 faces inside. So, you know, if you look at it deeply, you'll see the faces in there. You
Is this
know,
the one you're talking
yeah.
about?
And I'm sorry. I mean, for me to see something like that, you cannot tell me that's moisture or
Nah.
a dust
Right,
particle. Because
I've
I'd
had
have to say,
dozens.
what are you smoking?
Right.
You know, really.
That's a husband and wife probably.
You know, it's possible, but they followed me around the whole night as I was filming. Because I got them too in 5 or 6 other photos.
Okay.
Then he fully manifested in front of me by the Saint Mother Mary statue.
Now that's neat.
Then that blue light came out of nowhere, and you told me that was probably Mother Mary coming
yeah.
down. I don't know who came down, but let me tell you, I have that huge ball of blue light
Yeah, you have a
right
couple of
behind
those
that
that-
photo.
Now that's something, because I've always said that the orbs are the easiest way for spirits to travel. And then you witnessed it. You saw them grow into
Well, that's
a
the
being.
natural way for them to travel. That's the spirit energy.
Well, and I think it's easier for them,
Right.
because if they have to
If they have
manifest
to
or
manifest,
into
they
a
gotta-
big
they
form,
need-
it takes more energy.
They need a lot of electrical impulse.
But they
in order to-
manifest differently, each one. It's not the same
Some of
because
them partial, some of them you don't see them from like the waist up.
right, but the thing is, I've been sitting in the church one night and I seen glitter appear in front of my eyes. And before I knew it, it was like a whole apparition of a woman standing in the back of the church.
That's neat.
I said, Maron, where did this come from? You know, I said,
Yeah,
you know, it's like
right.
out of nowhere. I was like, oh my
Well,
God.
I saw the
Right.
shadows.
I thought
on the
I was getting
walls
a
and everything.
flashback
a lot
from
of
the
shadow
70s.
Right.
Right,
people there.
but
Right.
it's just weird, you know, how you come across this stuff and it's like, it's validation for me as a paranormal
Oh,
investigator.
yeah, and the fact
know?
that your vision has come on, and then you pick it up with the camera, that's fabulous.
Right, and as you see here, you have the 2 very bright ones, and you have a lot of small ones around it. But you know, like I was always wondering, what were the little holes in the middle of them, and some of them have like lines going through them. And what I've learned to understand is, each dimension they come through is like sort of a time frame for them where they get marked.
That too.
And that's what I truly believe. They're marked as they're coming from their different dimensions or time zones, because these spirits are actually still alive, but just in another dimension.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're living. They're like the person who died, they're still living that whole life over in a different
You know,
dimension.
you brought up a very good point there, and I want people to understand that. These orbs are live beings. They are not dead. They're in a
Right.
different dimension. And
Right.
even somebody who dies and crosses over is not truly dead. They're in a different space.
Because they can still come back.
yeah,
The only thing that changes is the envelope you came in.
right.
Right.
That's a good way of saying it.
You mean the
can't-
package?
this is the package. This is
Right.
the envelope. The only thing that changes is that your spirit energy goes on forever.
Absolutely.
I-
Yeah, and that's pretty
Let's
much, I think
let's
that was
move
the
on.
last
I
one
think
that I had.
I think I'm missing something here. Move on
I've
to
been
the
missing them
next
for
one.
years, my marbles.
They're on screen, Dave. They're up there in the orbs.
I'm telling you somewhere. They're not here, that's for sure.
You're really on a roll tonight. I love it. Let's see. Is there any more? I think that I feel
No
like
more.
there's
We're
one or
done.
two that I'm waiting to see.
No, I think they're all done.
No, there's one that has a giant orb, but it's gray. And it has a giant face in it, too. That's the one I'm looking for.
You have that one, Pat? Brian?
No,
that's a light ship.
Nope, that's the light ship.
As we all look up, waiting for the ship.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're waiting for the ship to come on already. What are you waiting for?
Oh my God! Well, you know that ship was as big as the sun. I mean, did you see how big it was?
Yeah, no, I seen the photo before. It was a beautiful photo.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Nope.
But it's funny, you know, when you talk about the ships and the way they come down and everything, even like spaceships or UFOs or whatever you want to call them, as they travel from each dimension to come here, you know, they're going through time loops and time zones and warps. That's the same thing that the orbs do.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like the same situation. They just find
And
their way through.
Also the fact that they don't just come from the realms above, they also come from below under the sea.
Right. Oh,
Which
absolutely. Yes, they definitely have a lot underwater.
I've seen that before, and I use a lot of ship metaphors, and now I know why.
Right.
Ahoy.
No, like, you know, I draw
Right.
my own ships over a calm sea, you know, that kind of stuff.
Remember
But
that?
a lot of people visually seen crafts coming out of the water.
Out of the ocean.
Yeah, it's been
Remember that
documented.
movie? What was it?
The Philadelphia experiment?
No, husband and wife scientist, and there was a water being that came in.
The Abyss.
The Abyss. Do you remember the Abyss? Now that was someone who would definitely be. That was similar to, it was an underwater base.
Right.
And it was different beings that lived in the sea.
And they used their self as water. You know,
Yeah.
they basically were.
Well,
Well, it's a-
that also has to do with the other elementals,
Right.
right? There's so many different.
Well, yeah, you're right. The elements of
elementals,
each
right.
conductor is how
Right,
they
and also
travel.
the elementals, that's what, you know,
Right.
the mermaids and the water beings that
Right.
protect.
Mermaids.
Mermaids, that's right.
Walt Disney got a hold of them.
Ask
You know
any
what,
mermaid
I
you happen to
personally have
see.
an aversion to seafood, and I
Right.
never understood why, and then I understood why.
Right,
Because
no.
somewhere we decided we weren't going to eat
Right.
You like
what came
seafood?
from. No,
Wow, that's.
it does not suit my palate at all. Huh?
Very
And I was
nice.
raised on it, huh?
Shrimp, calamari, nothing.
I guess they can't find that picture I'm talking about
you
in
have
the
it
back.
there?
Yeah, I
Why
have
don't you
it
just
just
here.
to
hold
eat
it
a
up so you
kilmite
can
is
show
now.
everybody?
Well, see
Here, let me
this?
hold it up.
Wait. I want to show you first. Do you
I've
see
seen the face. It
Oh,
was
you
upside
saw
down,
It.
yeah.
Okay,
I was
I don't know.
trying
Can
to
you get a picture of this?
conjecture.
Because I don't think they could find it in the back. Otherwise, they would have put it up. She's going to try to zoom in on it so we can see it. This was actually in my first
Oh, they
book.
got the photo up there. They found it.
Okay, now, okay, they have it up there now. Okay. Now, did you put that back up so I can explain it?
picture up, please.
Yeah, put the picture back up, please, so we can go into that a little bit. If you see that big black thing, but you can see a couple eyes in there, that is a giant orb. And it's not a light being, that it's
Right.
completely light. Do you see the fireball in there too?
Yeah.
And then if you, I don't know, I don't think they can turn it the right way.
Right.
But there's actually a spirit in that is his head covers my whole courtyard, that he turned and he actually stood
It
and
was
looked
upside down. I seen it. It
down,
was a beautiful
upside
picture.
down, and he was checking on me more or less. And
Right.
when the head covered the whole yard.
But for those at home that are watching, it's just go like this.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
can see the whole side because you can't miss that face.
You get strange company in your yard. I'm not coming there for barbecue.
Oh,
Right,
I'm
no,
telling
neither
you.
am I.
Well, you know, sometimes remember something. Sometimes it takes the dark to fight the dark. So it's kind of like it's a protective sentry, is what that is.
Right,
It's
right.
a sentry, and so he's on guard. And then someone just poked their little head, their big head, I should say, not little head, to
Right.
check on me too. So I thought that was one of the coolest pictures ever. That's in the book Living with Spirit. Now I don't know even if we can still get that, because I wrote that book a long time ago.
Right.
But anyway, it has some interesting pictures in there, and that one was one of them.
No, that was very interesting. I seen it, you know, before we came up here, and I was looking at the photo, and you could actually see the person's face, but he was looking upside
Upside
down. I
down.
was like, wow, you can see the
Yeah,
whole face.
I've seen like an orb appear in front of me like that. I'm like,
But you know, there's reasons why people like us have the gift, and there's reasons why they show things to us, because they want us to share with other people.
That's right.
Right.
You know, and for the people who are not knowledgeable or hear stories from others, it's whether you believe it or not.
Well,
to.
it's the old saying,
Right.
as we learn, so we teach, as we
Right.
teach, so we learn, and it
Right.
goes on and on and on.
See, you know the song, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that don't. See, that's a sad thing.
We're also here to
To
help
teach.
everyone evolve
Right.
and bring
That's
bring
because the-
more light into their
right.
That's
into their
because the main
biomagnetic
bulk
fields.
of society is caught up in the world of their egos and the five senses.
Right.
That's why they're not enlightened. They have the gift. Everybody got it. All right? There was nobody who didn't get it.
Right.
But they are just living their lives with blinders. Everything is job, family, money.
Well,
this,
that-
that.
that
They
all
worry
s-
about everything other than loving their own self. They can't
It's true,
love
but
themselves.
that has to do with their own soul evolution and their primary
Yeah.
substance and what issues they have to overcome.
I mean,
and
how
most
many,
of the
people, how
time
many
we hear
people
to
did you talk to and you get that same blank stare? You know what I mean? And you tell them something, and they look at you like, well, if I ask this medium over there, she'll tell me something different.
Right. Right.
Well, go ask her then, you know?
Well, you know, the thing is this is one of the things right on topic there, is people don't realize that when they come in with a path and a mission. And so if they don't wake up and get on their path and follow their path to their mission,
Right.
then they're going to fail. So let's say they had a really lousy life because, you know, spirit will keep knocking you down, wake up,
Right.
until, you know, you get the idea that, you know, that's the reason this is happening.
Right.
And so, you know, and then they don't fulfill their mission. And so there's more to this. It's about advancing our soul and about, it's not just about our mortal life, it's about our immortal soul and how we can advance to the next one and what else do we want to learn. So
Right.
this is where people lose it. They don't understand it.
Right. It's like the first time I ever got attacked, which was in the church cemetery, and I got a really nasty scratch on my back. I spoke to Adolphina the next night or
Yeah.
whatever it was, and it wasn't a bad spirit. It was actually somebody who was looking for help.
Right.
You know, because right away, as soon as I get that gut feeling, I call on the innate. And I have them help me and put my armor on.
Yeah.
So this way I'm
Absolutely,
protected.
and you will never ever forget to do that 20,000 times a day.
I don't, trust me.
Exactly, and that's what the whole purpose of that
Right.
is.
But you know, when I first learned about that, when the person told me, oh yeah, your armor comes on, I was like, oh Jesus, what is she
Cast up.
going through? You know, because I didn't believe it at first, you know, but
Yeah.
as I started learning the gifts, I didn't even think about it again, it just came natural.
Well, they are
Well,
meant-
the
they-
Christ is saying, Christ said, be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. And
Right.
your mind is being renewed to think like a spiritualist.
Oh, amazing.
See as a hear as a spiritualist, do as a spiritualist,
Right.
and
Hear and
and-
see, I felt like a
Right.
monkey,
Yeah.
you know, like,
the gifts of
you know, I was
discernment are
trying
for
to
a reason.
understand, like, what was
And
going on.
We're here to raise the consciousness of the world in oneness, whether
Right.
it be Hindu, whether it be Buddhist, Namaste.
Well, we're
and
all one.
Denom-
it's
so-
beautiful,
denominations
right? There
don't
is no
mean a
division
thing.
by
There is-
religion,
there
and
is
we all
no
here
division.
to evolve and be one
We
in unity
created the divisions.
with our
Right.
Creator. and
Which is
that's-
quite
that's-
amazing, because if you really think about it and you look back, you know, to the time of the ancient, you know, Greeks and Egyptians, God,
We've all
what-
been there.
Right, we were there
were
at
all
one
there.
point, but just we don't remember right now. But we will, we'll get that memory back soon.
You know, I'd like to do a show one time on soul retrieval. Do you
that would
have
be beautiful.
experience in
Oh,
soul
tons.
retrieval?
Absolutely.
Because there aren't too many people. This is a very, very high technique. And this is what in part allows you to grow, because you remember those parts of your souls that
Right.
come back and had another life and knew something, and suddenly now you know. You know?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right, you go through life feeling all these feelings that you didn't have in this lifetime as an experience, but you carry it in we call it committed to your vault, your
Right.
soul.
Yeah.
That it's part of your subconscious, and it actually affects the way you think about certain things, the way you harbor emotions
yeah.
and feelings, until you discover
Right.
that you're holding these emotions because there's some fragmentation from a past life that you need to bring into the light and then dissolve it.
Right.
And you have to, first has to be identified, addressed, and then purgated.
That's also your
And then
regressions.
another piece
Right.
comes back to you, and it creates more of the part of the wholeness that you need to illuminate.
And most people, I mean, literally need tons of soul retrieval, tons and tons.
Well, what about
Right.
when they turn around and they tell you, they said that they had a regression done and they went back to the 1800s. So I said, and you could go back to the 16, the 15,
Right.
2000 BC. I said, well, you think it
back
wasn't
to-
there?
Yeah. And then you start
Right.
to remember all these different
remember all
aspects of yourself. So,
Right.
you know, that's a good thing. Someday we're going to do a show
gonna have to
on
wrap
that.
it up.
That'd be wonderful. That
Anyway,
is
we're
so
just about
interesting.
timed out. So,
Right.
you know, I want to
welcome.
thank you, Dave, for
Thank you.
being
It's such
on.
a pleasure. I love being on your show. It's great.
You're a wonderful guest. I
Thank
mean,
you.
we chatter and
What am I,
laugh so
wood?
much.
Well, yeah. Well, I love you too, but you know what?
Okay, all right.
You're a guy.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to
I'm
make
in
fun
pink
in your
tonight.
pink
You gotta
shirt, all
love me.
right? Leave me alone.
Oh, that's bad.
No, what?
I almost bought Tommy a shirt last week that said "Real men wear pink" because I knew I was going to ask him.
I only
for
did
pink.
this for her. I would not do
Yeah,
this for somebody
he
else.
doesn't like to wear pink, but and I
Joe?
want
It's
to.
What do you think?
unconditional love.
I know it's unconditional love. I love everybody. Unfortunately, I don't love pink.
Okay. Well, anyway, we want to thank you too
Oh,
for
thank you.
being here,
Thank you for
Josephine.
everything.
Thank you. It's
Thank
been.
you.
I hope that everyone enjoyed learning and seeing all these pictures because for them, except for one or two of them, they're all original. I mean,
Right.
we took them personally, so we know they're
Right.
not photoshopped. They're the real deal. So
I
when
don't
you're
even know how
looking
to
at
use
it,
that stuff.
yeah. So you know they're the real deal.
Right.
And we want to thank everybody. Who do we want to thank?
We want to thank our sponsors too. Antonio's Pork Store in Tottenville and Aardvark Pest Control in Great Kills.
And the staff here.
And the staff here at CTV.
staff at
And our
CTV.
And our
volunteers.
wonderful
Yeah.
volunteers. And our studio audience. And everybody else.
And-
And I'm getting this.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.